everyone, to the top of Mount Manitoba, home of where we overlook the Dale Howardchuck statue about to be erected. Erected.
Who's
Dale Howardchuck?
He's a hockey dude.
Well,
wow, look at you knowing about the sports puck.
He didn't sound like a football dude.
Brad is right, and I'm actually upset that you did not know that, Andrea, because I expected you to know who that is. But yes, Winnipeg will be erecting the Dale Howardchuck statue this Saturday, and I'm really proud because it's right underneath the mountaintop of Mount Manitoba. Pretty cool, right? But that's not
spit on it.
Hmm?
You could spit on it from there.
I could if my window's opened.
Ah.
But before we go in, I just want to do a bit of a dedication. The two of you don't know, this is the second dedication I've done this. Our biggest fan is no longer with us. Not that she ever heard a show, but she would have. My mother passed away a few days ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Kirk.
My condolences.
Thank you. So if you can, wherever you are, wherever you're listening, and whether it's like years from now, days from now, whatever, my mom was a big wine drinker. I'm not, so raise a glass.
I would have had wine tonight if I'd known, but
yeah, well, I kind of kept it off social media. I'll explain that later. But mom would have listened to every show I did, and she would have told me off every time that I swore too much and got drunk too much.
Well, she's not wrong.
Cheers, Mom.
Yes.
So, in the spirit of your mom, Kirk, don't swear too much and don't drink too much.
Yes.
We'll just swear and drink for you.
Well, I appreciate that. As I said that when I mentioned that on the Hall of Fame show with Evan, which obviously you don't watch because I mentioned that there. But anyway, Evan said, because I kind of did the same opening, Evan said, so, but you would have been okay if you swore and drank. So, I mean, yeah, to that. So I just wanted to sort of like give a shout out to a wonderful woman who went through a lot of crap in the last few years. Alzheimer's is like the worst shit ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
Yes, but not as bad as Creed. Here's my son.
The gooey.
Which was chosen by Andrea, thanks.
I chose it.
Yeah, and what I love about this one here is we're actually getting back to the roots of this show is how the hell did this go number one? Because it doesn't make sense.
I was saying before you decided to eventually join us.
Hey, we said 8:30. I was here early.
You were here early, but Andrea's never been on time, so she was going to run with that like until the cows came home. Although I've never heard that impression. Until the cows come home. Where do the cows go?
I don't know, but my grandpa used that all the time.
Yeah, cows go out and then they come home when they're hungry and on their schedule.
They're usually the same spot. But but anyway, as I was saying to Andrea before, this is where the age difference that we enjoy over Miss Tessmann, or the youngin here in this group, is I think we have a different recollection of this. And for me, if I could just open, this to me, the way I remembered it, and part of that hasn't really changed. A lot of people my age, and I'm 50, but Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, that changed a lot of our musical landscape. And year after year, it got watered down. And this was sort of like that last water drip. This was sort of like the one drop of piss.
It's homeopathic talent.
It's like post-grunge. It's like there was still a desire for the arena rock feel of grunge. But then also without the edge.
Well, yeah, and exactly it. Because, and I sort of look back at this too, because like back in the early 90s, like, oh man, Kurt Cobain speaks to me. Like, really, what the fuck did I have to whine about?
Polly wants a cracker.
Yeah, when I think about it, I mean, like, it's just a bunch of privileged fuckers whining about stuff. But I mean, like, yeah, I was in that stage where you want to whine about stuff. Sort of like embracing Jesus really wasn't my jam at any time in my life, frankly. But, why did this work? And I think we got to look
like big butts.
We've done that.
Ah, okay.
That was in the before times.
Yeah, yes, it was.
Yes.
BB.
BB.
So this is basically trying to come off as it was Pearl Jam light, but they turned the suck knob way up.
Well, there were post Pearl Jam, or I mean during Pearl Jam, but like later on in those years.
Mm-hmm.
They were the first band to be called Pearl Jam light, to be fair.
Yeah.
No,
but there were others that were better at the same time. So it's not like everything in that genre was watering down, but it was kind of like you got Three Doors Down. Yeah, but there was still this desire for butt rock, like
butt rock. Is that the genre you've just made up? Butt rock?
No, it's like Puddle of Mud.
She fucking hates me.
But okay, but
Nickelback, I would deem butt rock. This is not my term.
Why butt rock?
Hard rock metal that's just like watered down for radio play.
Which this okay.
It's like bro rock. Bro rock.
All right.
I don't consider this bro rock though.
No, this is I'm depressed but have no reason to be rock.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think this was just enough to fit a whole bunch of shit. Because I'm thinking this was radio friendly, and radio mattered.
Mm-hmm.
Which wasn't too much long after work didn't, but it still did here. It was still going to get played by mainstream. It was going to get played by hard rock because, again, it's like, oh, because how many times have the three of us said, who pays attention to the lyrics? Yes, exactly.
But in this case, people actually did.
Okay, but a lot of people still didn't. So you're just hearing it.
Well, the fact that the man can't pronounce a basic word is part of it.
He's got a tumor on the tongue and he's trying to sing through it.
Yeah, mouth full of chew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you got that, but VH1, not that anybody pays too much attention to them, but voted them number 4 for the 25 greatest power ballads.
This song?
Yeah.
This song.
They were wrong.
Oh, they were so wrong. VH1 is allowed to be wrong.
number 1?
I don't know, but also it was 90
Probably Poison.
Best music video of all time.
Wait, what music video?
VH1 voted it 92nd.
Best music video of all time?
Best music video of all time. And it's not.
A douchebag just sort of like with CGI meteors going around him? Or
it's really.
And the Jesus pose.
Oh, yeah, we got to have the Jesus pose.
Oh, God. Okay.
So VH1's opinion really doesn't matter.
It's VH1. It's not even like it's MTV. It's not even much music.
No. Not
Only
even
Canadians are going to get that one.
Oh.
So,
it's 90s.
but so I do know people that resonate with this song. There's like an on the nose sentimentality of it.
You're gonna have a kid for the first time. You're nervous as shit.
Yeah, you're excited. You're nervous. You're scared. You're blah blah blah. Apparently he wrote it. I'm blanking on the guitarist's name, but he was just out riffing.
And that was hang on here, I've got it in my notes. Tremonti.
Yeah. So
he's talented, but anyway.
He's talented. So okay, now what's the lead singer's name? I'm blanking on that too. Yeah.
Stat.
So he goes out and just basically off the cuff sings this. It is about his
upcoming child.
Apparently by the time the song came out, he was already divorced. His marriage lasted less than 2 years.
Listen, only the best people get divorced. And I'm so good I did it twice.
I was so good at it, I did it within a couple months.
Good man. Yeah, I think I had a year.
Oh, but by the way, if my ex is watching, yeah, I saw what you look like. Winning. But anyway.
Wait, have you seen a picture of her recently?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
Normally you just say, hey, if my ex is watching, fuck you.
No, I don't have to.
That was a really good Kirk
already
impression,
did it.
actually.
Life already did. Sorry, one thing. How's your life? Because it ain't better than mine. Anyway, move on.
Hey, she's not living on top of Mount Manitoba.
That's
Mount
true.
Manitoba. Yes, because that's a
That's
thing.
true. It is. If I
Hey, let Kirk live in his fantasy world.
That's true. So where did Creed get their start? I'm sorry, Kirk.
Florida.
That was really low. Tallahassee,
Florida man.
Club called Big Daddies. And then they went to Floyd's music store and got bigger. And that's where the owner, Jeff Hansen, introduced them to John Kurtzweg and convinced him. Kurtzweg didn't like what he saw. And Hansen went, no, give him a record. You got to give him a record. And he looked at the crowds and what have you. And they were drawing a decent crowd. And so he went with it. He went with the idea of giving him a record. And for $6,000, they put together the first album, which was, oh crap, I can't remember what it was now.
I think that was the title of the album. Crap. I
can't remember. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, does it? Nothing else matters.
But it did super well, and
yeah, it
surprisingly,
did.
yeah.
I've got to hand it to him. I mean, look, Stapp, as much as I don't get it, you can't not recognize that he draws a certain demographic. What the demographic is, I don't know, but he does.
Hey, they double platinumed on their first album, so props for that. I don't get it.
With little help.
Yeah, I don't get it. It makes about as much sense to me as sports ball, but there's a lot of people out there that like sports ball.
But maybe we can get it though, because as we're looking at so you still have enough people that kind of care about the whole grunge shit, and throw myself into that category. So I would have been listening to radio stations that still would have played it. I never bought their album back when you used to buy albums. I don't know anyone who did, but I also don't know anyone at that point in time that didn't know who they were. And they exploded. And yes, so you've got your project, like you said.
What? My Own Prison was the album.
That's the one. Yes, okay. Yes.
I was reading. Oh, sorry, Andrea. Go on.
No, please go ahead.
Well, I was reading somewhere too, like that they thought that a lot of their appeal was that it just sort of like fit towards a lot of people who didn't really care about fitting in. So if you've got a band that, if you are, and I think Andrea, you were the one saying like about the lyrics, or maybe I forget, both of you maybe. I'm
a lyric listener, man. I have to listen.
Yeah, I am too.
Lyrics have to make sense.
Right. So lyrically, if you were,
which is why Wet Ass Pussy struck me to my core when I first heard it.
Hey, macaroni in a pot.
Hey, macaroni.
That's the song.
Yes.
The lyrics did hit home for some people because there's as I said, there's an on the nose sentimentality about it that really sat well with a few people. But there's also a trendiness of hating Creed that sat better with most people. And
to go back.
Oh, yes, exactly. It's the same phenomenon. They're not good. They're not
as shitty as people want to say they are.
There's worse bands out there. There's not many. And they're in the handful of, like, let's say 10 shittiest bands. If they'd never existed, the landscape of music wouldn't change.
And they're not critically well acclaimed, but they had a handful that Creed is not a one-hit wonder. They had a handful of Billboard hits.
Yeah, they sold really well, like better than I remember when I was going back.
And I gotta say, I don't hate Creed as a whole. I hate this song.
Yeah.
But
I got mad respect for Stapp when I found out that he went sideways in in the
and recorded a sex tape with
Kid Rock.
Okay, since we're there, I did not know
jumped
that.
way ahead, but let's just go with it.
Yes,
All right, we're there.
Because he goes off the rails. He gets suicidal. The rapper T.I. saves his life, or he credits T.I.
Yeah, he jumped off a building or something.
He was going to, and T.I. intervened. He sues and successfully blocks a sex tape with himself, Kid Rock, and 2 other women. He's charged with felony assault in 2007, and the charge was dropped. You know, the guy went off the rails. Now, I got to give mad respect to that, because you know what? If I got, crazy famous for having little or no talent, which is kind of in my wheelhouse, I have little or no talent. If somebody were to drop a fuck ton of money and fame on me, yeah, I'm going sideways. I'm going to get a little messed up. Kid Rock and I are going to party. There's going to be other people involved. There will be a sex tape.
Okay, speaking of going
I gotta
sideways,
say though, if we go
not the sideways I saw coming.
If we go back, way back, we're going in the way back machine now. This was a kid brought up in a hardcore evangelical Christian home.
And
he left home when he was a teenager, ran away. What?
At 17.
Yes. He then started to discover grunge and rock and decided this is what he wanted to do. And then became extremely famous while maintaining like dad level
religiosity.
Well, maintained religion.
I think
didn't get into any sort of huge scandals. Kept the drinking relatively under wraps. We're talking for like 3-4 years that he was actually famous.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went off the rails, but he was never cool.
No.
He was never the cool rock star. He was
but
Christian that didn't want to be Christian rock.
Mm-hmm.
Alcoholic, but maintained it well and it didn't affect
Hey,
things.
cheers on that.
I'm mowing the lawn in New Balance, okay? That's how dad gets high.
But okay, to that thing though, I mean, like Stapp is fascinating to me.
Oh, he's a total dichotomy.
Yeah, because he sort of embraced. Which one of you did the whole Jesus pose?
That'd be Andrea.
Yeah. Okay. Andrea, yes. So he embraced sort of. I think there's part of him that really wanted sort of like embrace that whole iconoclasm.
Oh yeah, the band actually on several occasions said his lyrics were always spiritually driven,
which is fine. I mean, like it doesn't necessarily speak to me. It doesn't have to. Some of the great music in the world doesn't necessarily speak to me, but as history will show, some of the great music, rock and roll, sort of like came out of the black churches and gospel, right? So I mean, like there's a whole lot to that, but
the greatest music came from a Jewish atheist.
Yeah,
Leonard Cohen, baby.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he was an atheist.
Yeah,
he was, but he was still a Jew,
and much of Jew.
His music has been co-opted by Christians for Christmas songs, which would drive him crazy. I'm sure he's rolling in his grave.
I think he'd be laughing at it because he always like his lyrics never made any secret of his. Okay, he said that he
get it out now because we're not doing Cohen on this show.
Oh no, Cohen is so
good. Cohen's way too good to be on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Because he never went #1, which is the problem of why we have this show in the first place.
The big thing with Cohen is that his religion, his church was the flesh, was the drink. He was pretty
sure that's even his lyrics.
He was a Dionysian at his core. He was a follower of Bacchus.
Wow.
Okay, but he never took the name in vain.
No.
And if he did, what was it to you?
And if I did, well, what was it to you? By that man. He's anyway. So
all right, reeling it in.
I could go off and talk about him for eons.
Okay, so there's a couple stories though about staff that just we went a fast forward on Kid Rock, but there was a couple ones too. I was aware that him and Fred Durst didn't get along.
I wonder why. Maybe it's because Fred Durst had talent.
There's a few people who would disagree with that. But,
no, I'm not saying that. Okay, in comparison to Stapp, Fred Durst had talent.
Okay, well, here's where I looked at this feud. It was the douchebag versus the asshole.
And we've all seen that Team America skit.
Oh, yeah. Assholes. No, dicks fuck assholes. Sometimes they fuck pussies.
But seriously, I mean, like, I saw this quote, as I was doing all this stuff, where it's basically Fred Durst, who, again, he's a fucking asshole, bordering on douche, but he more or less said, like, okay, with Stapp, like, he just took himself way too seriously, and that he thought that he was better than me, or better than us. He didn't say better than me, better
what
than...
was it? The Marshall, was he not one of the, was it Marshall in the band? Who basically beaked off about how they were so much better than Pearl Jam.
Right, and then he got fired three months later, the bass player.
The bass player. He wound up getting fired, but for his alcoholism.
Right, but the quote.
But they blamed it on him beaking off about Pearl Jam.
Okay, but this is the quote. Eddie Vedder wishes he could write songs like Scott Stapp. Okay. I would spend a lot of money to go see Pearl Jam in concert. I would also spend the same amount of money not to have dinner with Eddie Vedder.
See, I would pay good money to see somebody else sing Pearl Jam songs, because much like, and I've talked about this before, the double album called Borrowed Tunes, which has a bunch of Canadian artists redoing Neil Young songs so they sound good.
Maybe you have, but not on this. So I'm not familiar with this.
I thought I did. Anyway, I hate Neil Young. Neil Young is Sad Tiny Tim. Yeah, so he's Sad Tiny Tim. That's all he is.
Yeah.
So
my glass is too expensive. I did not want me to drop it. I can do it.
Anyway,
what's this album?
So Borrowed Tunes is a bunch of Canadian artists making Neil Young songs sound good. So if we could get that with Pearl Jam songs, because Pearl Jam songs are well written, they're well arranged, and Eddie Vedder's voice sucks.
You know what I learned, like, in the last week, is that Drake is a great songwriter. He's a terrible, I do not like Drake's music, but then I heard a whole bunch of things that he's written for other people, and I was like, damn, he's actually talented.
Here's my thing with Drake. I started from the bottom. Okay, Drake, you really weren't at the bottom. Let's just be blunt here. That's all.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, that was an aside. I agree that I would like to hear Pearl Jam songs performed by other people. I also would like to hear Bob Dylan songs performed by other people.
Yep. Although one of Bob Dylan's best songs was The Hurricane, even with Bob Dylan's voice, because he wasn't doing the "but I would not feel so all alone."
Everybody must get stoned.
And you get Dylan in the Traveling Wilburys. You get Dylan in there. I mean, that's
the Traveling Wilburys are iconic, though.
Here's what's depressing, Brad. You and I were older than Bob Dylan when he was in the Traveling Wilburys.
Well, it's all right.
For me, my thing was the Wilbury twist. You ever see the video for that?
No, I've not.
Yeah, don't. It's they're half of the videos that they're making fun of really old people, and I remember thinking, like, God, you're goddamn old at that point.
But they weren't.
No, but
they were younger than you.
With what we were talking about before, would Creed songs be better if they had a vocalist or a lead singer who
not this song?
No, because
not this song.
Because this guy works for this genre and for that fan base.
See, that's the way I feel about music, though. We had the evolution of music. We had disco, which I was too young to really get into that much. And then it died a horrific death, and that was lovely. And then we had 80s tunes, which is like the pinnacle of music. That morphed into hair metal. Hair metal gave way to grunge. which was the worst form of music since like polka.
Whoa.
Hey, don't diss
Whoa.
the polka.
Whoa, grunge is the worst form of music since polka?
Well, okay.
You
I
hate
shouldn't have
disco
brought- I
and
shouldn't have-
grunge? Fuck you and fuck you.
I shouldn't
And
have brought
also, fuck
polka
you for
in.
hating polka.
No, I like
Paloma
it.
Paloma Blanca, I'm just a bird in the sky.
So no, with grunge, it was all of this, I'm gonna be really depressed. I'm gonna mumble the words,
Yeah.
and it was I've never hated myself enough to like that music.
Fair, okay, but that's fair. But also, you apparently didn't love Jesus enough to love this.
No, Jesus and me, we never been tight.
Jesus,
No, we were tight when I was
for
growing
me.
up.
Jesus is just all right for me.
Well,
Ah.
Jesus knows me, and he knows my name,
Ooh,
Genesis.
Andrea, you're up. Jesus.
I no, sorry, I'm
I
out.
didn't know there was going to be homework. Or this
I didn't know there was going to be
Jesus
homework.
Christ
All I can
pose.
think of is like Catholic songs from church.
You
Okay,
could do Jesus Christ pose.
let's stick with the.
Jesus Christ,
Oh,
superstar.
there we go. Who are you happy you think you are?
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
I didn't finally watch that. But
It
anyway.
is going to be in Vancouver in a couple of months, and unfortunately,
going?
tickets start at $180.
Are we
So
going?
If you shit in Winnipeg, things are cheap.
I don't know. I don't know if I can rationalize that price tag, but maybe.
Okay, we're gonna go. We're gonna stay at Tree's place, and then we'll go over to the concert.
Could be a plan.
Oh, I
We'll
think
discuss this after the show.
Yeah, without me, because musicals suck. But anyway,
They do not suck.
they do suck.
Oh my goodness!
How
He
are we?
likes grunge.
Okay, how are we internet friends? I have to say internet friends because we've never met. But I mean,
Well, I've met you through Andrea, who I've met in Meat Space.
oh, you've met her, all right.
We've been friends for like over 15 years.
Yeah, something like that. Before you went to Jasper, so
Wow.
I've known her longer.
Whoa! Brad was before Jasper.
Brad and I have been friends since probably 2005.
Yeah.
So Brad and
If
the
not
Duster
before
was
that.
before?
I'm a
What?
better person. What
Brad
can I
and the
say?
Duster was before Jasper.
Brad and I have been friends since the early 2000s.
Look at that. Okay, I did not know that. All right, we've really gotten off topic.
So suffice to say, to wrap everything up, Creed sucks. Stapp is a bit of a dick, but then he went sideways, which made him slightly cool.
But
Oh, and he did the Arms Wide Open charity, which you got to give him props for.
okay, I will close with that because I don't know about that. But as I was sort of like going back, I thought about this band more, and I said to Andrea before because you were again the late one. I hated them more after learning more about Stapp and other shit that he did, and then I liked them more as I sort of thought about this. Technically, this is a decent band. There have been a lot of shitty bands that went number one, technically, with their skills. And we can say a lot of what we want about. Great.
Disco Duck.
So tell me what you want, Kirk. What you really, really want.
Okay. I don't think technically this is a very bad song, or really even anything they did was technically bad.
The video was pretty bad.
Okay, it doesn't speak to me. It doesn't speak to Andrea. It doesn't speak to you. But it spoke to a shit ton of people. It was polished. It was done well. The guitarist, crap, what's his name?
It wasn't Marshall. I for whatever reason, it starts with an M though.
No, okay, with an Italian name.
Blah, 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 that's what's his name? Tremonti.
Right, who then sort of like ran Alter Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And like the guitar licks of Creed are very, very good. And that's
they're good.
Can I add one fun fact?
Yes.
Anything you want.
So they signed with the small studio that put out their first album.
Mm-hmm.
And then that studio was bought by Kurtzwig, something like that.
I didn't buy it.
Kurtzwig bought there was Wind Up Records.
Wind Up, yes.
Yeah.
So the owners of Wind Up Records got divorced, and then he died. And they interviewed his wife because he left a bunch of money to weird things.
To his chauffeur and
to
somebody
and
else.
they asked his ex-wife, and she said, I don't give a fuck. He can leave his money to homeless, to bums. He can fuck a nun for all I care. And that cracked me up.
Yeah. I would have liked to have had tea with this woman.
Yep.
Incidentally, I think that would fucking Nun Productions.
Fucking Nun Productions.
Right here in the
Oh, you know what? Maybe not even fucking Nun. It should be Nun Fucker. And written in metal lettering that you can put on the back of a jean jacket.
By the way, thanks, Ted, because of the opening, it's a Bucknerverse production.
Yeah, I like the new opening. It looks good. It looks good.
Diana Meltzer, that was her name.
Meltzer, that's the one.
He wants to give it to the bums. He can give it to the bums. He could fuck a nun. I can't give a shit. He can give his money to whoever he wants. We're divorced. The man's dead.
And then she said something else in that interview about I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Are we done here?
I think so. I just had to bring up the fucking nun comment because that was funny.
Creed, dissing on Creed was done before it started because thousands upon thousands of people have done it before us.
Yeah, I have to admit though, I came respecting him more than I thought, and hating him more than I thought.
Yeah, I
ignored him. I ignored him at that point. It's like, and I didn't have. There was nobody in my friend circle that was into Creed. Nobody. I guess you too, Brad.
I had a roommate who liked Creed. But then they found, what was the other one that was out at that time? He played it so much, I can't
Incubus?
even hear it. Hey?
Incubus?
He had, first time I heard Incubus when I was DJing in a strip club and one of the dancers brought it in. And I was quite impressed.
I actually enjoy a fair bit of Incubus, but this song reminds me of Drive in its insidious, just holier than thou bullshit.
Can I close with this though?
Hit it.
This song won Best Rock for Grammy. What shit band won Best Rock the next year?
Well, I don't know. Who won?
Train.
Oh, Meet Virginia.
No,
no, it would have been Drops of Jupiter, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Which I thought was sort of perfect, learning that. Well, my dog's going nuts here.
Hello, nuts dog.
Jasper, what do you think about Drops of Jupiter?
Yeah, me too, buddy. Me too.
Me too.
First time I heard it, it was kind of cute, and then it was overplayed, and I don't care about it anymore.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Hey, so there's a line that she needs a 2-ply hefty bag. Like, that song is terrible.
Oh yeah, that was another one of their songs. That wasn't Drops of
Jupiter.
Jupiter.
But anyway. Hey, dipshit, what are you doing?
We should probably end this.
Well, we can't yet because Kirk has to come back. So in the meantime, we can talk about the Arms Wide Open charity. Formed in 2000.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, so it's formed in 2000. They start helping out kids and veterans and families, basically similar to like the Make-A-Wish, but the kids don't have to die. Which is, I guess kind of nice.
Awesome.
They're basing it on like a family values sort of platform, helping out vets because vets get a raw deal when they come back, doing retraining, bringing them to like fun outings and stuff, that kind of stuff. So, cool. You got to give them credit for doing that and giving back.
Absolutely.
But I don't have to like them.
But
also, sex tape with Kid Rock.
Oh, well, for that, you got to give the guy a little bit of credit.
And on that note, what are we talking about next week?
Does he make people say, my name is Kid Rock?
Before we do that, before I tell you what we got next week, I'm going to say that as much as I despise Kid Rock's politics, not necessarily because I'm one side or the other, just I hate extremism. That song's a fucking banger.
That is a banger.
With a bob a diggy 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 with a Tony the Tiger.
God damn it! I'm glad I didn't have a drink in my mouth when you did that. So I'm going to give you guys a choice. I've got either, here's your choice.
Okay.
Either the shittiest song in maudlin shit I could find from the 70s. Or, because I've done that a lot, I know. Or
there's a lot of shitty modeling shit in the 70s.
There's still a couple I've got sort of like tagged up in the revolver here, but screw it. I'm just gonna tell you, no, we're not gonna go there. I'm not gonna give you a choice. We're gonna have a bit of fun. We're gonna have a bit of fun. Here's an early 80s song where I'm just gonna say this and see what you do. Turn around.
Every now and then I get a little bit.
Okay, so we have to discuss the parody video of this one.
I didn't know there was one.
I will send that to you.
All right.
I will send
All right. This will be fun.
Yeah.
So, hey, Kirk.
Yeah.
Kirk, did you write a book?
I did. Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart, for those wondering. But yes, I wrote a book. I wrote a book about the greatest. Well, okay, it's about the greatest wrestler I ever wrote a book about.
Oh, yes. It's the greatest wrestler that Kirk has ever written a book about, and that I've not read yet, but I will one day.
Also, the only
Even though
one
I don't care about the wrestlers,
yeah.
but what I do care about is seeing Kirk's printing in crayon in a book.
I'm doing crayon. I worked my ass off on this motherfucker.
Okay.
But anyway, Chavo Guerrero, it's a classic. Chavo Guerrero's one of the great members of the Guerrero family. I had the pleasure of writing his autobiography. He's since left us a few years ago. And it's up. It's up on Amazon. Chavo Guerrero, it's a classic. I'm very proud of that work. Do you know I do other shows?
You do other shows? You cheat on us?
Yes.
There's no way you're polyshomorous.
I am polyshorus.
No wheezing the jit.
Encino Man.
Well, Evan Nolan and I, we do the weekly Hall of Fame show. Where
so your little whore has a name.
What's that?
Hey, you've met Evan. Leave Evan alone.
Evan's great.
Leave Brittany alone.
That too.
No, I shouldn't call him a whore. It's not fair.
Brad, Kirk is the whore. He's the one that's polyshomorous.
And you didn't tell us before, the betrayal is the worst part.
Okay, out of the three of us, I'm pretty sure I'm the least whorish, but anyway.
How dare you talk about Andrea?
You've been married for like 20 years.
That's why I can say that pretty selfishly.
You're just jealous.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm
away.
old and decrepit, and I'm perfectly fine with this life. And I did have an 18-year-old chase me for a while, as you know, Andrea, and I'll leave it at that.
So tell us about your other shows.
Yeah,
the 18-year-old, I'm all ears either way.
Actually, she wasn't even 18 at the time. But anyway, I've got a je ne sais quoi, as they say in French.
That's French for don't give a shit.
Something like that. Yeah, so I've got that. I've also got this crap was on national television. There's not going to be a news show for a while. There should be, but my partner, Chris Bernay, is super duper Alice Cooper busy. But the last one that we did is doing pretty good on YouTube. But go figure that one out. It's Gilligan's Island. No, the Harlem Globetrotters go to Gilligan's Island. But the next one we're going to do is Manimal. Brad, you might be a guest on that. You're thinking about that?
I used to love Manimal, man. But if I go and check it now and see how crappily it holds up, I'm going to be so sad.
Well, we always
That's the point.
guess.
That's true. Okay.
We always look for guests. So as soon as he tells me that he's watched it, I will reach out to you, sir. And
it lasted all of one season.
That's the whole point, which is why I actually never watched it.
It's like Misfits of Science. Misfits of Science didn't even last a season. I think they got 4 episodes.
I just heard it was crap. I haven't even watched the whole thing yet. I just heard about it. I found the pilot, sent it to Chris, and said, okay, what do you think of this? And he said, let's do it. And then
this is hot garbage.
Yeah, usually the way it works with Chris and I, it's like, then I send him something. He says, okay, let's do this. And it's like, oh shit, I better watch the damn thing I picked.
Yep.
And that's pretty much everything with that. So we've got that that's sort of in the tank. Hey, sports fans. Hey,
I'll be over here.
really? Okay. Well, in the tank that's going to be up soon is the Classic Sports Review, where Glenn Pulowski, you know Glenn.
Oh, totally. Glenn's a great guy.
Yeah, Glenn, the greatest triathlete in all of Buffalo, New York.
That's the Glenn I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, fine.
Words of
the
agreement.
Yeah, well, fine. We looked at the Lennox Lewis Klitschko fight from 2000 and something. I don't remember what year. That's going to come up soon. All of this and so much more, because this is all on
The Bucknerverse.
Nice.
And maybe I shouldn't do that part. But anyway, wherever you are, wherever you may be, stay safe, everyone.
Bye.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.